Okay, so today this is going to be a makeup tutorial on this look that I'm wearing. It is a green and purple eyeshadow look. I have green eyeshadow on the lid and purple in the crease. I initially intended for it to be a cut crease eyeshadow tutorial, but I'm not sure if you would really classify it as a cut crease because the purple line isn't as dramatic and as well defined as a cut crease eyeshadow look would be. So this is just going to be a green and purple eyeshadow makeup tutorial. I already thought of the fact that it's Barney colors before anyone says that. So if this is too Barney for you, then just think of it as a glam Barney look, since it is purple and green like Barney. Anyways, I hope that you enjoy this tutorial. If you try this out, please leave me a message or tag me somehow. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and let's get started. Okay, so I already have one eye completed just to save time on camera, and also so that you could probably look back at it if you're going to be able to see both eyes in the same shot, that is, so that you can look back at it sort of for reference. The second thing that I've already done is for this eye, I've already primed and you put the eyeliner in my waterline, and I did that off camera also to save time, and especially with the waterline I did off camera because I'm not very good at putting it in there, and so it took quite a while. So the products I used to do all of that was the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. It's in a little bottle like this. And for the eyeliner, I used the Mabelline Waterproof Gel Pencil. Okay, also for this look, I'm going to be using the Morphe eyeshadow palette. It's the 35W, and I wanted to show you the colors that I'm going to be using off of this palette really quick so I don't have to keep showing you what I'm doing. So the first color I'm going to use is going to be this color right here. And then I'm going to use this pink right here, this lighter purple, and then for last I'm going to do this darker purple. And I'm also going to be using for the lid the Loreal Infallible eyeshadow color. This is in the color Golden Emerald. This is a very shimmery emerald green. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, here's the first eye up close. I apologize for the shadow around my eyes. I don't have good lighting. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is use the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, and I'm going to dip it in that first tan shade that I showed you. And I'm going to use this all over the crease, part on the lid, and I'm going to take it up a little higher than the crease as well because it's light and blendable and it doesn't matter. I want to make sure I'm getting enough color up there though. This is going to be a pretty interesting first video because this is my first official, well, one of the first makeup tutorials where I'm using my camera up close and hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing. And it's going to take a little practice. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the pink and lighter purple shade and start building color in the crease. To do that, I'm going to use the e.l.f. contour brush. This is also an eye blending brush, but it's just a little more precise than the first one that I used. So the first thing I'm going to do is dip it in the pink. I have bad lighting in here, and I did my other eye in the bathroom where I had better lighting. So this eye that I'm working on in here is probably gonna come out way different than the first time. Now I'm going in with the purple. Just trying to get a little color gradient started so that when I put on the dark purple, it's not completely intense. Okay, before I go in with the dark purple crease, I'm gonna go ahead and put in this green golden emerald eyeshadow. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm gonna try to blend these two colors together. So I wanted to put this one on first, and then I'll go back in and blend the purple with this green. And I'm just gonna use my finger to apply. I'm gonna try to keep this on the lower part of the eyelid so that I can use any extra to blend upward. And then I'm also using my finger to blend upward a little bit before I go in with the brush in a minute. The next thing I'm going to do is start building the dark purple color into the crease. To intensify the eyeshadow, I'm going to use some sprays of eye drops on my brush. You can also use a MAC Fix Plus, but I don't have that. I wanted to try out the eye drops first, and they do work pretty well. So I'm going to start with spritzing my brush with some eye drops. And the brush that I'm going to be using to do the crease is also going to be an e.l.f. brush. It's the Professional Eye Crease Brush, and it's also an eye blending brush, just a little bit more precise than the last one that I used. That's me spritzing these eye drops. First I'm going to go in with that light purple just to make sure that I've got enough color built up in the crease before I go in with the dark purple. And I'm using the wet brush that's got eye drops on it to dip into the purple. And I hope this is not too intense because I'm trying to be very careful. So I'm trying to stay on the outer corner of the eye. That way when I go all the way to the inner corner, I'll have less eyeshadow on the brush and it will be a more blended look, and the whole crease will not be so intense. It'll just be the outer corner that will be the most intense, or the outer 2/3. Okay, I'm gonna spray again, and then I'm gonna go in with the darker purple color. I'm gonna start very light and build up. That way I make sure that I don't put too much color on there initially. Just clean the brush off a little bit so I can go into the inner corner without applying a lot of product. Blend these two colors together. I'm gonna apply just a little bit more of the green, just so I know. I think I've lost a little bit of color on there after I applied the purple, so I want to make sure that I've got all of the green in there. So just going back and adding in a little more green. Then gonna go back in, make sure those two lines are blended together. I'm gonna use the same brush that I was just using. It's cleaner now because it has less product on it. So I'm just gonna use it to oh my gosh, I'm not even in the range. Okay, I'm just taking the brush along where the two lines of color meet, and I'm just swiping back and forth. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the e.l.f. eyeliner brush. It's flat, if you can see. And I already have a little bit of primer on my under eye. So I'm gonna take this brush and dip it in the dark purple and line my under eye with Sorry, you weren't supposed to see that. That was my little secret. And I'm not gonna bring it all the way into the inner corner, just maybe 2/3 of the way or half of the way. And I'm trying to get enough color down there so that I can go back and blend it out a little. And for this corner, I'm just trying to make a clean corner over here. Then to blend that out, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Professional Eyeshadow Brush. This is a flat brush. And I'm gonna just swipe it under there. And just blending until I get it to look the way that I want. And right now, I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Colossal Mascara. I'm gonna do 1 coat on the bottom lashes and 2 on the... Okay, gonna let that dry. Then I'm gonna go back in with another coat on the top lash. Okay. While I'm letting that dry, I'm gonna use this e.l.f. Professional Concealer Brush. This is the really flat one that I mentioned in another video. And I'm gonna take the Maybelline Single Eyeshadow in the color Vanilla. And I'm gonna use that to light the inner corners. That color looks just like this. It's like a white shimmery shade. And I also have a little bit of concealer on the inner corner of the eye as well. So that's gonna help intensify the color of this highlight. Gonna do the second and final coat on of the mascara on the top lashes. There we go. Alright, so that completes the eyeshadow. The next thing I'm gonna do is do the brows. All I use for that is the Wet n Wild eyeliner slash brow pencil in the color Taupe. And I just use this to fill in the brows because I have such a light brow color that I need something to fill in all those holes. So that's all I do for my... It's okay. And then I just go back and blend it all out with the Brow Wand by e.l.f. So I just use this and comb through it because it picks up all of the excess color that sometimes leaves a little, like it looks like crumbs that are left behind. And so I take that and I sweep it through there, and it definitely helps put a little bit of color on the brows. And sometimes I have to go back and do it again because sometimes I wipe all of the color out. And then I take the Rimmel Brow Gel called Brow This Way in the clear color and just wipe it across. I really like this product because I cannot see very well in the camera, but if you can tell, there's not a lot of extra product on the brush when it comes out, and it doesn't make your brows feel wet. It just applies the perfect amount so that they stay in place, but so they don't just feel like you wiped the makeup right off, or that you just, submerged your brows in water. And we're done with the brows. Okay, so the last thing that I'm gonna do is go in with foundation, bronzer, and blush. And I've already primed my face. The primer that I used is the Hard Candy Color Correcting Primer. And so I just let that sit on my face for a few minutes while I did my eyebrows, and now I'm ready to go in with foundation. Foundation that I'm gonna be using is the CoverGirl. I'm so proud of how much I've used of this bottle because I don't think I've ever used that much of a foundation before. But this is the CoverGirl True Blend in the shade Like It Matters. Let's see, Light 1 Ivory. So I take this, I use exactly 1 pump on the back of my hand, and then I use the Sigma F80 brush to apply it. And I like this brush because it helps to apply it evenly, and it's just a lot less messy. I personally prefer a brush because it's a lot less messy than using your fingers. So I'm going to try to apply this with the mirror right here below the camera without getting in your way. One thing that I've learned with applying a foundation is if I press it in rather than just wiping it across the face, it covers a lot better. Alright, I'm going to go in with a setting powder so that it keeps from creasing. The setting powder that I'm going to use is just the Maybelline Dream Matte Powder in the shade Cream Light. It's just the standard pressed face powder, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. powder brush to apply that. Okay, next we're going to go in with bronzer. I'm going to be using the NYC Sun and Bronze in the color Montauk. And to do that, I'm going to be using the angled e.l.f. blush brush. Now, I'm not good at bronzing at all, so we'll see how this turns out. Sure. For the blush, I'm going to be using this e.l.f. blush palette in the color Dark. I did haul this in a video, and it's got these 4 colors in it. So this one here has a little bit of shimmer. And then you've got this pink. I think this is a mauve color. This is a little more on the dark peach side. I'm gonna use this dark peach color. And these are pretty good shadows. I don't think that you, blushes. I don't think that you have to use very much of them to get a good color on your skin. I left foundation on my lips on purpose because it helps to nude them out so that when I go in with a really weird intense color, it will look more true to its shade and not change its color based on the color of my lips, which it seems every lipstick does that. So that's a trick that I've learned, and it has worked so far. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna do is put on this NYX Illuminator highlight. Looks like this. If you can see around that awful shadow. And it's in the color Ritualistic. This is a pretty, I'm gonna use the Up and Up brand brush by Target to apply that. And this is a pretty good highlight. I think sometimes I put too much of it on because it makes my skin look greasy when I put too much on, and when I don't put it, you know, but I have to put enough so that it shows up, so it's tricky, and I haven't gotten good. Last thing I'm gonna do is lips, and that's gonna be the, I think it's Loreal or Maybelline. You know what's funny is they don't have their name written on this tube, but it's gonna be the Color Whisper, and this is gonna be in the shade Lust for Blush. It's almost pink, but it's more like a nude or a nude pink. So I chose a nude lipstick for this look so that it doesn't take away from the green eyeshadow. Okay. Alright, that's this completed makeup look. If you enjoyed watching, please like and give a thumbs up. Please comment below. Please subscribe. Let me know if you want to keep seeing more makeup looks. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.